That's where you should get all of your Ripple and XRP news since that's all it gives you. The XRP Santa Rise was set up by a beautiful piece of writing that I'd like to thank you for. The picture you just saw shows that the boiler bands are squished together. For 2 weeks, the price stayed stuck in the middle between 2 on 10 and 2 on 20. One of the most common types of buildup patterns is this one. But this part of the story is different. Bitcoin and Ethereum are not squished together. They are going at their own pace. But XRP is building up pressure like a walled-off room. Mid-band breakup? Not at all. Turning off the mid-band? Yes, you guessed it. Every time they denied it. It's not strong. And in the past, once this exact pattern is seen in XRP in Q4, boom, you get what we call the Santa Rise. The computers and traders both know it. Also, guess what? People who run the market know it. It only takes one daily candle to close above your mid-band for the price to test $2.50. It leads us right to this. If it breaks that band, your crowd erupts, which brings us to this. But first, let's talk about the airport. 22.85 million coming in. Just to remind you, I'm making this movie today, Friday. You'll get it on Saturday because it has to go to the editing team. It's a short day. The stores are closed. Okay, just a half day on Black Friday. They'll be closed in an hour. 22.85 million. Do the math, people. On average, we told you 45 million. This adds up to 23.23, which is 46 times 23. There are only 4 ETFs out there. We've now reached this part, the fake breakdown, which brings us to over it. All of a sudden, the price of XRP breaks down. Okay, it stops convergent. Wonderful. Retailers are in a panic. You already know what happened. The same story keeps happening, but the institutions know better, and you should too at this point. Not in time, right? What does happen right after that breakdown? Your price goes back up. Breakdown, as you can see, there is a fear dip. Boom. The price goes back up. It was a trap, a classic example of how market makers set things up to shake things up. Now the story turns, right? You've reached the end of your momentum, which looked like the end, but was actually your cue. It looks like XRP is getting ready for a rise. As soon as it goes above this last trend line, which brings us to this point, because Michael Saylor just recently said that quantum computers might be able to break Bitcoin in 10 to 20 years. He says Bitcoin will just get better by then, though. And here's the funny part. While everyone is scared of quantum threats, XRP's design is already set up to make upgrades easy. Yes, Ripple does work with banks to make sure that standards are quantum proof. What's the fear? The fear doesn't work here, though. It's not even close to applying, people. Which brings us back to this point where the whole story ends. Hit that thumbs up button for me if you haven't already. The rich list is out there. You know where you stand now. You've seen the moves into ETFs, which could take billions of dollars out of the market. The building blocks of Santa Rally, the compression, the fake failures, and the institutional accumulation. You're not early. You're not behind schedule. Because you were there, the hero found out that the door had been open the whole time. It was enough for them to walk through it. A very small number of wallets will change how they store their money. If XRP hits $10%, if it gets to $20, and the 1% become a whole new financial class. The real question is no longer, can XRP make everyone rich? Where do you rank when the next part starts? Because when this movie ends, and it will end, and this finally high, Titas, a lot of people will say you knew something they didn't, but you just paid attention. That's how I'll leave it. Hey YouTube, how are you all? Thanks for coming back to the show. Pay close attention to this. Something is going on right now. What's going on with XRP feels like the start of a tale. The kind of story that early on people like to brag about. You will never know the same things about XRP wealth, ETFs, or your place in the new financial class system that is taking shape right in front of us again after I show you what I'm about to show you. Look, this movie is well known, and Jake, 99.9% of XRP will be worth $100 by the end of the year. This will set the stage for where this movie is going, but I'm not going to play it. Follow me now. Let's think about something. Close your eyes and let me take you inside. Imagine that you are in a field. It doesn't matter if it's for football or soccer. And picture it full of all the people who own XRP in the world. The lights went out after we had more than 7.2 million wallets. Everyone in the crowd stops talking. After that, someone says, if you're in the top 10%, you move forward. There are only 723,457 people who move on. That's it. People in that group, out of a million, guess what? They have at least 2,123 XRP. That puts you in the top 10% of holders by itself. Then they say, top 5% move forward. A different part of the crowd moves. There are 361,729 wallets with more than 8,067 XRP in them. Move forward. Then there was the big twist. The top 1% move forward. There are 72,246 wallets that go. That's a very small part of the world of crypto. Those wallets can hold at least 49,900 XRP. Take a moment now. Take a look at those numbers. Think about how many people are in the world and compare those numbers. Not a lot. A lot of people think that XRP is oversaturated, like everyone has a bag, but the rich list shows something crazy. Not many people own XRP. What's there is very, very concentrate. A lot of people aren't even in the top 50%. The typical small investor, they're not even close to being rich. And now the story starts to move faster because this class structure will become a financial fact when XRP hits 10, 20, or even higher. And when XRP hits $10, the top 10% wallage went up to at least $23,230. The top 5% got a little more than $80,000. In your top 1%, they go through the roof and make $500,000. This isn't making everyone rich. Rich people are only getting rich because they are ready. The rest of the crowd is watching from the side. Now we get to the important part of the story, the point at which outside forces step in and speed things up, folks. In a moment, please make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our station. Plus, if you're reading this and thinking, damn, I need to know where I rank, click here. Then you need to be in my calls because look, I keep track of these. I keep an eye on the data on the flows, your ETF forecasts, and the heat maps all the time. You'll also want to be a possibility before the next liquidity sweep happens. Afterward. Hey, if you're not inside yet, check out the link in the description or the comments. I call so that when you get the information, it actually changes strategies that use old headlines. Come on, back to the story. The flow chart is what we need to talk about. Picture this. We're back outside the stadium, but now a huge wave of institutional money comes in from the top decks, 45 million every single day. Those are the expected imports. Where and when the XRP ETFs go live are, oh, never mind. They are live every day. Every day, 45 million people rush into this market. That is interest, and that is how institutions build up wealth. You can see how this all fits together on your computer. 16 million XRP were bought off the market after 1 month. 1.84% of the XRP is gone after 3 months. It's been 6 months, and 3.68 billion XRP are gone. And after a year, almost 7.5 billion XRP were gone. But now comes the crazy part, everyone. All of this is based on 4 ETFs. Also, guess what? Important news flash, the 5th one went live on Monday. In December, numbers 6 and 7 will go live. How does that math look? Do not worry. RIP took care of you. We're starting to see a supply shock because these numbers are going up faster. After 30 days, we'll talk. After 3 months, 1 billion XRP are gone. 3 billion XRP are gone, and it's been 6 months. 6 billion XRP are gone, and in a year's time next year, it's Black Friday when I make this film. In November 2026, more than 12 billion XRP were lost. There aren't 12 billion XRP out there. The alarms are going off. That's cash that can be bought off the market. Do you remember Jake telling you that over-the-counter funding is going away? That's it. The only place to buy XRP now that ETFs are forcing people to buy it and over-the-counter stock has run out is on the open market. That's not a price change for everyone. That's a crazy explosion. And right now and right after this is where our story goes from the very beginning to the end, and it starts to shake because of this. It's where everything starts to boil. The long list is there. While all of this is going on in the background, the crypto news is exploding, and big companies are moving away from Bitcoin and toward Ethereum. Cross-border trains are being looked into by banks using XRP. A top expert thinks XRP will go up by more than 10%. Risk models show that risks are building up. Bullets and monthly arrangements are still in place. The big surprise is that no one really has XRP. It's harder than ever for the top 1% of wallets to stack, though. You're seeing growth in your top 5% and top 10%. Stores? Still not awake. They are going to sleep. Do you know why? People in retail have a grudge against XRP because they think it's the banker's coin. But, surprise, banks are also buying the other cryptocurrencies. This is where the story gets weird, right? Bankers' money. People are laughing at us, but hey, that's the perfect amount of tension. Everyone knows something important is going to happen, but no one knows when. That's when we get to the technical parts of the story. I'll read them to you now. It all starts with Bitcoin, right? Your price is slowly going up on the weekly line, but your volume is going down. On paper, bearish, but typically bullish before a squeeze. RSI isn't strong, but it's a good time for a 50 repeat. Your stash RSI went too low, and now it's curling up. The MACD for you is above 0, but guess what? It's losing speed. That's how things usually look before a turnaround. The daily RSI is going up. Your MACD is bullish but flattening, which is a classic case of a local low. It's like seeing a bowstring get pulled back, right? Slow, high, and quiet. Once you see it, liquidity pulls.